Well, okay. Hello, everyone. As you see, I'm a hot mess. Um, 2.5 years of fighting for my husband, and it's destroyed me physically. Um, I have three autoimmune diseases: lupus, fibromyalgia, and been diagnosed with ankylosing spondylitis. It's taken a toll on me physically, mentally, emotionally. I'm still fighting. My husband's home, praise God, but I have to keep fighting until justice prevails, and God will show that truth. I know He will. Um, I want to start with what's going on in Richmond City Police Department and in the circuit court. I've made videos that are out there for people to see what's happened. Um, on January 8th, 2021, if my husband and I wouldn't have gone to the police department to show video evidence of Delante Winston stealing from KFOODS to help my brother-in-law. So let's go back. Okay, let's go back to December of 2020. December 26, 2020. This horrible day that has ruined our life. Um, on December 26, 2020, my husband got off work. He went to the apartment. As he was walking in, my brother-in-law was walking out, and he told my brother-in-law told my husband that the guy that had been stealing from his store, which my husband has nothing to do with this store, KFOODS, a Midlothian Turnpike in Richmond, Virginia. It was owned and operated by my brother-in-law. My husband got no profits off of it. He didn't work there. He had nothing to do with that store. He actually worked in Southside, Richmond, Virginia at 301 Express. When he got off work and he went to the apartment, my brother-in-law was leaving, and he told him he was going to the store because the guy that had been stealing was there and the girl. So he left. My brother-in-law had told my husband to come after he got done, settled, whatever. So my husband goes to the store. He gets there at about probably 7:52, about 7:52 p.m. on December 26, 2020. Forgive me. Anyway, it was 2020. He gets to the store, and my husband is unaware that my brother-in-law has told other people about the situation. My husband went because the year prior to that, in November of 2019, their cousin, Ashraf Mahasi's, he, not blood, but they grew up together, so he considered him his cousin, and we were affected greatly by his death. Ashraf had a guy stealing in the store, and he kicked him out in 2019. Well, when the guy left, he came back, he opened the door, and he shot Ashraf dead and took the cash register and took off. Well, the police arrested the guy, and somehow the court or the jail, somehow in 2019, they let the guy out. It took the police 3 days to find that guy. And from what I've been told recently, the guy got found guilty and he's serving 15 years for murder. Now, that was premeditated murder, 15 years. I want people to know the corruption that's happening in the city of Richmond with the police department and the courts. And you're not safe in Richmond. You're not safe with the criminals, and you're not safe with the police neither. So you have to forgive me. I have a lot of emotions. I'm very sick. I have so many things going on now, but the truth has to get out. And I need a reporter. Reed Williams, I believe his name was, with the Progress. No, he was with the Richmond Times Dispatch. He interviewed me 2 years ago, and he was going to do the story, and then he lost his job. So he wasn't able to do our story, and no one else seems to care about justice or the truth. And we have the evidence. Um, I am just so exhausted. I'm someone of great faith, someone who believes very much in God, and my faith has really been tested the last 2 years. So, needless to say, let's get going forward. And I've never done a live stream before, so I'm not even sure how this is working. Anyway, so my husband leaves. He goes to the store. He walks in the door at 7:54 p.m. So my brother-in-law and a group of other people from the neighborhood, they all walk in the store, and my husband's the last one to come in. At 7:54, my husband is seen locking the door because he assumed they're going to call the police. He walks over from the door, which is right here, to this away, to the last aisle. He looks, he sees his brother and the guy walking and talking. So he comes back, he unlocks the door at 7:55. 1 minute later, he unlocks the door. For the rest of the night, during those 3 hours, customers are in and out. The door is locked back and forth throughout the night for the simple fact of the matter, too many people were in and out of the store. It was too much commotion. They had locked the door at night ever since Ashraf had been killed the year before, at the store, and only let people in at night that they knew. Plus, the fact was, my husband, who doesn't normally work at this store, he was there for 3 hours. He was there until 11:12. Nothing happened to this guy. Now, let me explain to you Delante Winston. This is a man that has a record for aiding in the prostitution of a minor, sex trafficking, statutory robbery, racketeering. He has, he just has a whole list of charges. And I mean, it's crazy that this man was out. He actually, during that 3 hours, Delante Winston told my brother-in-law, Muhammad, don't call the police because he's on bond for racketeering. He was out on bond from Henrico County courts for racketeering. So my brother-in-law gave him the opportunity to make phone calls. This guy is a sex trafficker. Listen to me. Delante Winston is a sex trafficker. And the city of police, the Richmond City Police, they know this. He's an informant, I have found out since too. Delante was calling these girls. There was a girl there with him named Shadika Shabazz. During that 3 hours, Shadika left with some other people. She went to their apartment. He was trying to get the $15,000 together so my brother-in-law wouldn't call the police. You'll see in the videos, I have the videos. If I could just find the right person who will come and see the evidence and do something, because I've reached out to the Attorney General, Jason Myers. He doesn't care. I've reached out to the governor. He doesn't care. I've reached out to Senator Jennifer McCollin. She's a congresswoman now, but she was a senator at the time. I reached out to Senator Hashmi. I've reached out to Tim Kaine. I've reached out to Donald McKeechin before he died. He doesn't care because I have evidence on Colette McKeechin that she lied to Senator Hashmi. That's another issue. I have evidence that the prosecutor made statements in my brother-in-law's court hearing, bond hearing. He made statements to the fact that they're Muslim. You can't say that in the court. You can't say, Your Honor, they appear to be Muslim and what I would call a group of Muslims. What's that got to do with anything? That's Islamophobia. It's racism. Well, I brought that up to Colette McKeechin's attention, and she didn't care. I told her her prosecutor was racist. She didn't care. I got in touch with Senator Galaza Hashmi because she's Muslim. She was going to do something about it. She reached out to Colette McKeechin, and I have the emails. I have the evidence. I'm not going to sit on this video and lie. I don't lie. I'm not going to lie. I have the evidence. I have the emails, and it shows where Colette McKeechin lied to Senator Hashmi, said the statement that I cited, it was not was not said by her prosecutor. And Colette McKeechin also said there was no court reporter on that day. Well, I got the transcripts from the court reporter, and I proved that the statement that I cited, he did say. He's racist. Alvin Williams is a racist prosecutor working in the city of Richmond in the circuit courts. He should not be there. Senator Hashmi then sends me an email telling me, after she talked to Jennifer McCollin, which was my senator at the time for my jurisdiction, she emails me and tells me, please don't call or email her office any longer because it's for her constituents and I don't live in her jurisdiction. Even though I pay the state of Virginia taxes, my taxes, obviously she don't realize they pay her paycheck. So there's so much corruption in Richmond, it's disgusting. On top of that, okay, so there's video evidence that shows my husband leaving the store at 11:12. What is this? You can see right here. It's kind of hard to see. Well, maybe you can't see. Maybe if I turning it's not gonna make it any better. I have evidence to show, as you can't really see there. You can see it right like that. It's the lighting. You can see the time frame. It's 11:12 on December 26th, 11:12 p.m. You see in this video, my husband leaves. You see from the front of the store, he's leaving. He's walking out. He leaves. Come on, God, give me a break. And then I have another, I have a whole video of the whole night. I have everything that the police have. Then also there's another video, which it's just, I can't show it on this. There's no good lighting. Anyway, the video shows my husband gets in his car and he leaves. I hired a lawyer named Peter Baruch. I paid him $12,000. Peter Baruch, he gave no evidence. There's video footage that's evidence showing my husband left. Peter Baruch subpoenaed me and 2 other people to testify in court. None of us testified. I was the witness that throughout that whole night, and it's on video, you can see my husband going in and out the store on the phone. I was on the phone with him, talking with him throughout the night, the 3 hours he was there. Nothing happened to this guy, Delante Winston. Nothing. Also, I was there to testify that I was a witness that my husband had came home, and we never lied about anything during this whole situation at the time. At the time, me and my husband were having some issues, personal issues, and anyway, I don't need to go into all that, but we had evidence that my husband came home, and I was there to testify. Peter Baruch, he never had me testify. He never had the other 2 witnesses testify. He stole my money. He didn't give any evidence. He didn't fight the case. He didn't care. From the first, he went there the first time to the jail, talked to my husband, got his side of the story. Then the next time he came back, he wanted him to do a plea deal. All he ever did was want my husband to take a plea deal when my husband's innocent. Mohammed has never even had a speeding ticket. He's somebody that just works. He didn't come here from Jordan to get in trouble. Now, my brother-in-law, he's a different story. It's just like Cain and Abel in the Bible. They're like Cain and Abel. They're 2 different people. And so 6 weeks. All right, I'm so all over the place. Okay, my husband stays there until 11:12 p.m. Nothing happens to this guy. He leaves. 10 minutes after he leaves the store, someone that works there named Hussein Mudab, which Hussein Mudab was charged, but Hussein Mudab's lawyer, Ali Amir Shahi, was friends with Michael Holloman, one of the prosecutors in the city of Richmond. They are like this. You can go on Facebook and look at their comments back and forth to each other, how close they are. I mean, they break the law. They text and drive all the time. It's all over Facebook. You can see it. And so Hussein Mudab, which is the guy that actually beat Delante up along with other people in the store, and this was after my husband had left, he walked away with nothing but a simple assault. That's it. A simple assault. No time in jail, no nothing. And this guy was guilty. What happened in that store happened after my husband left, 10 minutes approximately after he left. The police, the detectives lied in court about so many things. They tampered with the video evidence. They tampered with the videos that were on the inside of the store. They stopped the video at 11:08 when you see my husband walking through the store. It didn't pick back up until 11:18. So 6 minutes after my husband had left the store, it picks back up on the inside. They tampered with it. But they were too stupid to realize the videos on the outside, which I have everything, and the ones on the inside, The videos on the outside showed Mohamed leaving at 11:12. He got in his car. You see him get in his BMW and drive off. And he came home. During that time after he left until 6 a.m., there's people in that video. There's a video of the guy that sitting in the chair with no clothes on but his boxer shorts. It looks like he's been, water poured on him. The police exaggerated this story so much. They said that in the court, and the detectives and the Delante and Shadika Shabazz, they said that he was so distraught mentally and physically and beat up so bad that he couldn't function. It just messed him up for months. How? Please tell me how. If this happened to this man, 4 days later, he was arrested in Henrico County on sex trafficking. This man that was so distraught, this man that has been going for months to this store stealing, this man, where's the videos? Bear with me just 1 minute. I'm sorry. I'm really irritated. You can see this guy right here. Let me see if I can get it where you can see it. This is Delante Winston. You're going to watch him. He's in the back playing the casino machine, but he's actually stealing is what he's doing. Watch him. Right now, you're going to see the stack of money he takes out. He's picking the lock. See the stack of money? That's Shadika Shabazz. She thinks she's covering the video up so nobody can see him. Now, we went to the police department. Me and my husband, Mohamed, we went to Richmond City Police Department on Gray Street. We went on our own on January 8th because my brother-in-law was arrested on January 6th. We went there to show the evidence of this guy stealing. Over 15 videos we have over a period of 2 months. My husband told the detectives he was at the store for 3 hours. Nothing happened to that guy. Instead of Detective Eric O'Brien watching these videos or listening to my husband, he didn't even really talk to him other than to show him a picture and ask him, is this you? Because it shows him when he walked in the store that night on the 20th. They arrested my husband. They put my husband in a situation that he had nothing to do with. No one named him. The victims didn't name him. The only person named was my brother-in-law, and then the people that have all walked away from this. Chantel Burwell, her girlfriend Dashika, they walked away no process. They were there till 6 o'clock in the morning. I have the videos. You can watch the videos of these people walking in the store carrying a gun. You can see them pushing this guy through the store when they were leaving at 2 o'clock in the morning. I have all these videos. But the one thing you don't see is Mohamed, because he's not there. He wasn't involved. And I'm so aggravated because of the corruption. I paid Peter Baruch $12,000 to fight our case. He did nothing. Gave no evidence. When all the evidence shows Mohamed wasn't there. No one testified against Mohamed except for Delante and Dashika. I mean, not Dashika. Delante and Shadikwa, whatever her name is. The trash, the liars. Their stories don't even match up. I have all the transcripts from the court and I've read over them. You can see where they've lied. Their stories don't match up. They confuse Mohamed with his brother because they look a lot alike. They say that he was there during a time where Delante was being beaten, but yet the police said the beating didn't start until after Mohamed left. There's so many lies. Delante said that he was hit in the head with a gun. Okay, he was hit in the head with a gun, but yet if you look at the pictures and talk to Detective Braden of Henrico County, when 4 days later the guy was arrested on sex trafficking, there's no mark on him. No mark. And if he's so mentally messed up from what happened to him, how did he get arrested for sex trafficking? How did Shadikwa get arrested for identity theft, residing in a body place? The corruption is disgusting that's happened on this case. Detective O'Brien should be ashamed of himself. I filed a formal complaint. So let's get back to the day we went to the police department. That day when we were there, the police, I kept asking, why are you arresting my husband? Because I know my husband's a very good man. He's a good man. He don't speed. If I tell him, come on, go faster, we're in a hurry, he won't do it. Even before this, Detective Russell had the nerve to tell me, what are you, lady, a fucking lawyer? He scared me, intimidated me so bad that to this day now I have PTSD. I'm scared of police. My husband's scared of police. I can't go around police without my hands will start sweating. My heart will start racing. I had to go through therapy all last year. I need to be back in therapy because they just messed my life up. They've ruined my life. They took everything from us. And on top of that, the lawyers I hired were just as corrupt. Peter Baruch, $12,000, and he didn't even give the evidence, because if he would have fought the case, when Alvin Williams showed the jury on September 20 and 21 of 2021, those were his trial dates. The Alvin Williams showed the jury a video of Mohamed walking the door at 7:54, and he locked the door. Had Peter Baruch spoke up and said, wait a minute, keep that video going, they'd have seen him walk over, and they'd have seen him come back and unlock the door 1 minute later, just 1 minute, and they would have seen video footage for 3 hours of people in and out the store, customers. There was nothing happening to this man. As a matter of fact, at 10 something, it's at 10:20, I think, you see him at the front of the store walking around arguing with my brother-in-law. No one had put their hands on him at that point. My husband, the day we went to the police department, had we not gone there, he'd have never been arrested. We would not suffer the way we're suffering. I would not have this health problems that I have now because of all the stress. I filed a formal complaint. I left after the detective said, what are you, lady, a fucking lawyer? And I said, you don't know me, I'll be back. And Detective O'Brien took our computer that we had. Only thing on that computer was brand new, was videos of the guy stealing, our evidence. They took it without a warrant. I left. I came back. I met with Captain Leno and Lieutenant Jackson. I filed a formal complaint. That formal complaint with Internal Affairs has been substantiated. Somebody was found guilty. I have no idea who, because they didn't tell me. They don't tell you anything. When I left that day, came back, filed the complaint, and then I left. I told Captain Leno, I said, I want my computer back. I want it back. He had no right to take it. There was nothing on it. We gave him a USB of all the videos of the guy stealing, which to this day, they've never charged that man for stealing the $15,000. And we have video evidence and paperwork to prove it. The tickets that he cashed in to get money and over, it was just, anyway, we have the proof. I left. After I left the police department, Lieutenant Jackson calls me, tells me, come back, get the computer, because Detective O'Brien had taken it with him when he took my husband to the jail. When I came back, Lieutenant Jackson came outside. He talked to me. He tells me as I'm talking to him, I said, there's no way my husband's guilty of anything. I know my husband. Now, my brother-in-law, you can tell me whatever you want about my brother-in-law, and I'll believe it all day long because I know him. But my husband, no. My husband's a good man. He's a godly man. He's never even had a speeding ticket. Lieutenant Jackson goes on to tell me that it was a situation of him being in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's what it looked like. Okay, so later on, down the road, when I talk to him about it, he denies it. He lies to me. Now he's been promoted to a sergeant, and he's working down here in Richmond somewhere at the other precinct because he got promoted. See what they do when they lie and they got to cover stuff up? They promote them to keep their mouths shut. Thank God for Captain Marty Harrison, because he found one of those detectives guilty for what they did that day. But they've never paid the price for what they've done. Now, let's get to the court, to the trial. Chantel Burwell. This woman is seen all night long in the store. Her girlfriend Ishika is seen all night long in the store. They're both seen pushing this guy, Delante Winston, through the store at like 2 o'clock in the morning. They both were seen with guns. Both of them, their charges were no process. Chantel Burwell was called to court by the state, by the prosecutor, Alvin Williams, to testify against my husband. In the court, she did not testify. She testified, but she told the court and the jury, which did not listen. Makes me think they got paid off. She told the court and the judge, Judge Harrison, which I think he got paid off. She told them that he was not there. He had nothing to do with what happened to Delante. He was not there, that he had left, that nothing happened until way after he had been gone. Then on top of that, when she walked out of the courtroom, she was in tears crying, and she yells and tells all of us that are sitting in the lobby that the prosecutor wanted her to lie against my husband and that she couldn't do it because he was not involved, he was not there. That prosecutor, that racist prosecutor, Alvin Williams, wanted her to lie in the court and say that he was guilty of something he did not do. So at the end of the day, we go to court. Peter gives no evidence. The jury finds my husband guilty. We go to the sentencing. I hired a new lawyer. I fired Peter Baruch. I hired Miriam Arrington Fisher, another big mistake. I've paid that woman $21,500, and she lied to me since day one. Since the day I met with them, I gave them all the evidence. They looked at everything, the videos, the pictures, the calls. I have a list of the phone calls between me and my husband, everything. Miriam tells me that during an appeal, which is what they were going to do, after they were going to do the motion to set aside the verdict, I paid $10,000 for that. She lost that. She said that she went to the sentencing. She thinks that she got my husband 18 months is what she said. She don't even know my husband's case. My husband ended up with 2 years. Me and my daughter and someone else, one of our friends testified. Judge Harrison ended up saying that he really felt that my husband didn't have anything to do with the situation, but the jury found him guilty, so he had to sentence him. Since then, I found out if he really felt that way, he could have overturned that verdict, and he didn't. He gave my husband 2 years. My husband served 21 months. An innocent man now in jail. Richmond City Jail. They violated his civil rights. They took away his wedding ring. It was a silver band. It had no diamonds. They're not supposed to touch anything that has to do with religion or marriage. They took his wedding band. When he got vaccinated, he suffered in 3 days crying. They denied him medical treatment. Something as simple as Tylenol. At that time, I was working for the government. I worked as an epidemiologist on COVID in 2020 and 21. And I called him and told him, you have to give him Tylenol. He's in extreme pain. The vaccine caused people to be in physical pain, headache, felt like you have the flu. They denied him medical treatment. On top of that, to this day now, he has scars all over his body from the water. Richmond City Jail is physically abusing people to this day by their water. Their water is untreated, it's unclean. And I've met other people that I've talked to that was in the jail as I've been investigating. And I've looked at people, even a female, a black female. She has scars all over her body now from the water at Richmond City Jail. My husband has that. Then on top of that, when they transferred my husband from Richmond City Jail to State Farm Prison, he was there for 2 weeks. And they knew he was Muslim. 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, he found out they'd been feeding him pork. That's a violation of his religious rights. And there's so many other things that's happened. Like, I'm not going to go through everything, but I have a whole list of things that were done. I sent him a book, the way they said, through Barnes & Noble. I sent him the Constitution, your rights. I sent that to him in Arabic. They wouldn't let him have it. They sent it back. They tried to say it was because it didn't have the receipt. Well, that's because they had the receipt. It came with the first book. I sent 2 books and 3 books, and he got the first 2, and the third one came at a later time because through Barnes & Noble. But they didn't let him have it. The whole point. I sent him a card. They sent it back to me I sent him a card for the holidays and for Easter, I believe. And they sent it back because the envelope was yellow instead of white. So many things happened in that jail. My husband watched somebody get stabbed 26 times. He watched another man get stabbed 6 times. Every night he lived in fear. He had a guy steal all his food. And then, it's just so many things happen. Now, Miriam Arrington Fisher law firm They lose the motion to set aside the verdict. Then they go to the Supreme Court. I mean the Circuit Court of Appeals. Then they go to the Supreme Court. Now, mind you, I paid them $10,000 for the motion to set aside the verdict and the sentencing, and I'd already paid Peter for the sentencing. I didn't get that money back. Then I owed them $15,000. They charged me $15,000 to do appeals, which I already knew they were going to lose because they couldn't give new evidence. We already talked about this. I have the emails. I have emails between me and my lawyers. I knew that they couldn't win the appeals because they couldn't give new evidence, and Peter never gave the evidence. Even though we had it, it's still considered evidence that we had, so it wouldn't be new. The only way you can win an appeal is if you give new evidence. Well, supposedly they couldn't give that evidence. It doesn't make sense to me, but anyway, Peter never gave it. They looked at all the evidence the day I hired them, and they said, wow, why did Peter give this? It shows he wasn't there. I said, that's the big question. Why did Peter not fight our case? Why? Because he sold our case out, obviously, to the prosecutor. Then Miriam Arrington Fisher, she loses the appeal. She doesn't even go to the courts anymore after the motion to set aside a verdict. Her lawyer, Jennifer, that works with her, I can't even say her last name. She's from Dominican Republic. Jennifer goes to the circuit court. She doesn't go to the Supreme Court. It's on video for 10 minutes. She loses everything. I've pulled up the records for the circuit court and found out that the judges said something to her about eras where apparently she didn't give the correct information. And I'm still researching that now. But then Miriam goes on now to tell me, see, I still owe her $3,500. I paid her a total of $21,500. I gave her every dime I had, everything. I sold my husband's car. I sold my dining room table and chairs. I sold what I had to sell to get her money. I've spent $38,500 in lawyers. I've gave all I have. Miriam tells me now she's no longer doing post-conviction cases. She tells me that she never said that she would do the habeas corpus, that I didn't hire her for that. But yet, since the day I hired her, that's all she said that they were going to end up doing was the habeas corpus on Peter because he was ineffective assistance of counsel is what that means. A habeas corpus, you file an ineffective assistance of counsel, which means your lawyer didn't represent you. And that's what happened to us. So Miriam's got my head believing all this stuff all this time since September of 2021 when I hired her, or no, it was October 2021. I have 4 witnesses that my daughter was there with me the day I hired her. She's my witness. She heard what she said too on a couple occasions. 2 of my friend and my daughter's friend were both there at the court motion to set aside the verdict when Miriam and Jennifer both talked to us and said that we're going to go through with the appeals. They said it's going to be a long fight, but be strong. And eventually we'll get to where we can do the habeas corpus on Peter. I have witnesses to this. Miriam now has walked away from our case. She says it's not that she's walked away, but they're finished. They did what they were hired to do, the appeals. No, she lied to me. She told me she would do the habeas corpus. The $3,500 I still owed her, she waived it. She said because of my health and because of our financial situation. I quite honestly don't know what else to do. I don't trust lawyers. I have filed with the Innocence Project. They've said it can take months before they can even be involved because they have 100 people that are waiting that are innocent. It's disgusting. I have lupus, fibromyalgia, ankylosing spondylitis. I just had a MRI Monday because I have a tumor on my brain and I'm waiting for the doctor to get back with me about that. I just saw the doctor Tuesday, the heart doctor, and my rheumatologist. My heart doctor says that my heart's showing some thickening because my blood pressure's staying up and I have to get my blood pressure under control. My rheumatologist diagnosed me. I can't walk My rheumatologist said I have plantar fasciitis going on. All this is inflammation. Inflammation due to stress. Stress makes your autoimmune system worse. And I can't get anyone in my government to give a damn. I've reached out to Delegate Mike Cherry. I know Mike personally. I used to go to his church, Life Church. He's the associate pastor. And I've talked to him. I've asked him to help me. He says he's tried. All I can do is believe him because I know he's a man of God. He knows me. He knows my family. He knows we're good people. He knows we abide by the law. I voted Republican last year for the first time in my life. I voted for Jason Myers. I voted for Governor Youngkin because all these people that I've gone to, Jennifer McCollin, Senator Kane, Senator Hashmi, Colette McKeechin, they're all Democrats and they're all corrupt. So I thought, okay, let me vote Republican. Republican's the way to go because they're honest. They're going to help. That's not the case. At this point in my life, all I can do is give it to God. But I want people to know the truth. I want people to know, because if I leave this world, I want people to know it doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat. Those people in government, they are not for you. They don't care about you. It doesn't matter who you are. They don't care about you. I am a good person. My husband is a good person. We have been through so much. In 2019, we lost my son-in-law. He served in Afghanistan. He had PTSD, and he committed suicide. In 2020, no, a week after he died is when my husband's cousin was killed in the store. He was murdered. In 2020, I had my best friend died of cancer. In 2020, I can't even remember. So many people have died since 2018 when it started. My father-in-law died in 2018. In 2021, Mohammed, he went to jail. In November of 21, his 9-year-old nephew was killed in a drive-by shooting. He was murdered, 9 years old, and his 7-year-old brother saw it. And the jail, Sheriff Irving, wouldn't let me come down there and tell my husband in person. I had to tell him over the phone and listen to him scream and cry. And then a week after that, my cousin went to Petersburg Hospital and they turned him away. He died of an aneurysm in his stomach. And because of that, last year in April, my aunt, she committed suicide because it was her only son. And then a week after that, one of my best friends, he died of cancer. And it's just been on and on and on. Like this year, I asked God, please just don't let nobody die. And then April 10th, my cousin, he died of pneumonia. It's a big test of my faith. It's a very big test of my faith, but my health is declining fast. And I'm tired. I'm very tired. I'm tired of nobody caring. I'm tired of reporters reporting about things to make us fight. They want you to fight over if you're a Republican, a Democrat, if you wear a mask or you don't wear a mask. The media, they're all in it. They're all with the government in it. And I truly believe that they all work for Satan. Anyway, I don't know if anybody's listening to this, and I don't know where to go from this point. My husband and I, our life is so sad. We're people that we've never hurt anyone. We don't hurt people, especially Mohammed. Mohammed's so good. And I don't know what to do. I don't trust any lawyers at all anymore because I've been screwed over so bad now. The only lawyer I trusted was Raul Novo, and he died last year. And he was our first lawyer. I hired him. He won the bond. And then the prosecutor turned around and rewrote the charges. Same charges, just rewrote them to conspiracy, just so they'd keep my husband in jail. My husband was in jail for 6 weeks before he found out what had happened. He never knew. And to this day, like, he knows what happened now, because since he came home, I sat down and showed him all the videos from that night after he left. And I talked to him and told him what the lawyer said. I couldn't keep Raul as a lawyer because Raul, he had cancer and nobody knew but me and his family. He opened up to me about it because I would pray with him, and he said he needed my faith, and I miss him so much because now I need his faith. But anyway, I'm just reaching out to people because if anyone's out there listening and you can help us, please, we need help. We need someone to help us fight this injustice. Mohamed is innocent, and it's not fair. The people that were actually guilty, if you watch the videos, and I have everything because Raul gave me all the videos he went and got at the police department, he gave them to me, and I watched them within the first 48 hours. I didn't sleep. I just watched them. There are people in those videos that I know that the police know who they are, and they didn't even arrest them, and they were guilty. And I mean, they're drug dealers in Southside Virginia. And the reason I know that is because when my husband worked in Southside Virginia, you get to know who's the drug dealers, because you don't want them coming in your store like making problems, and the police are always coming around asking. So if there's someone out there listening, in the government, in the media, a lawyer, like, or just an everyday person that knows, I I really need someone to help me fight this battle because I'm tired. And I'm tired of every day that my husband drives out of the driveway, I'm scared. Just imagine if he gets pulled over and a cop runs his license. They're not going to look at him and be like, oh, this man's a nice man. They're going to look at him like, oh, this man's a criminal. He's got 4 felonies, 3 abduction for pecuniary benefit, and 1 malicious injury by mob. And Juana's never even had a speeding ticket. And what's even more crazy is he has more charges than his brother, which his brother was guilty. His brother's serving 7 years in the prison. The Judge Jenkins, which Judge Jenkins ran his mouth off in the court, and he didn't even know what he was talking about. That's what's even crazier. He said he didn't understand he told my brother-in-law, I don't understand how your brother only got 2 years. He gave my brother-in-law 7. Well, Judge Jenkins, if you're listening, you and Judge Harrison, you were made a fool in your court, because that pregnant girl, Shadiqa Shabazz, that you thought was so sweet and innocent because she was pregnant, she's a thief. She's got a record a mile long, and nothing happened to her. They walked away with $15,000. A motion to deal was made with Delante Winston, and it was set in court, in my husband's court. He was allowed to keep the $15,000 as compensation, and then they turn around, and in Henrico County, they got his racketeering and sex trafficking charges in all process. Hussein Mudab, which was guilty, he got simple assault. Chantel Burwell and Dashika, her girlfriend, they both walked away, no process, no charges, and they were guilty sin. And then other people that were in the videos that were guilty weren't even arrested. That's what's even more crazier. And you know who you are. And then the guy, Delante Winston and Shadiqa Shabazz, they were arrested 4 days after the incident on sex trafficking. And Judge Jenkins and Judge Harrison didn't even know that. But Judge Jenkins did tell the prosecutor for my brother-in-law they couldn't charge them with malicious injury by mob. So my brother-in-law has 3 felonies and a misdemeanor, whereas my husband got 4 felonies, and he's the only one that wasn't involved. Go figure. All I can think is it's a test from God. God's going to show his glory in all this. He's going to put his hand down on this. And for all of you that are watching that are guilty, that had your hand in this situation, that hurt my husband, I want you to know you're forgiven, because God says we have to forgive you. But God will give us vengeance. He will give us justice. God is going to punish you, because there's going to come a day when you go in front of God and he's going to ask you, Detective Eric O'Brien, you especially. God is going to look at you, Eric O'Brien, Detective Russell, Judge Harrison, Delante Winston, Shadiqa Shabazz. God is going to look at all of you and ask you why you lied on that innocent man. Why did you put an innocent man in jail? It's no different what you did to my husband than what they did to Jesus. He was beaten and put on a cross and killed. My husband wasn't killed, but he suffered, and he still suffers to this day because of what y'all did. So you better go to God and ask for forgiveness. And one of you needs to come forward and change the situation, because it's not fair to us. We can't do anything. My husband, we can't move. My husband can't even do DoorDash if he wants to, because he has 4 felonies. How do you do that to an innocent man? So it's in your hands. Jason Myers, I reached out to you by email today. It's July 27th. I sent you an email. Governor Youngkin, I reached out to you, as well as Delegate Mike Cherry. I reached out to all of y'all today. I've showed you the videos. That's not even the video. What it is I took my phone and I videotaped the video. But I have the whole video that shows everything, the whole night. And it shows the guilty, and it shows my husband's not guilty, that he left. I filed a pardon. Haven't heard anything. It's been over a year. Somebody please reach out to me, because we need someone to help us. It's not fair that we have to continue to suffer, and I shouldn't have to live in fear every time I see a cop. That I live in fear, like I'm doing something wrong, and I see my husband the same way, and we've never done anything to hurt anyone. So anyway, that's it. 46 minutes. Sorry, it's a long video. God bless you all. Just remember what I said. It's not about Republicans versus Democrats in this world. It is about the government versus the people. And it's time people wake up and realize Satan is running this world right now. Whether you believe in God or not, you got to believe in a higher power. You got to believe in something. And the evil is running this world. And the government is evil. The government, they're tearing us all apart. They don't care about us. All they care, when your God becomes money, power, and greed, then you have a problem. Governor Youngkin, you have the chance to make this wrong a right. You have the chance. God put you in that seat to do something good. Do something good with it. Please contact me, Jason Myers, the same with you. Y'all have a chance to show that you can do something good. And I really wish you would take Colette McKeechin out of her seat, because she don't deserve to be where she's at. She is letting prosecutors get away with lying and doing breaking the law, violations of the Brady law, violations of the color of law by the police department, so many. So somebody please get in touch with me. Thank you very much, and have a great day. God bless you.